Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday and New Year.
Hello.
Hi, Rick. So I just want to quickly clarify a couple of things. So I see a lot of new faces in here. I also see some of our members. So just so everyone know, my weekly live stream is in my essentially my free group. And so it's, Thrive in Real Estate is a short sale expert. So it is a lot of value and stuff. But if you are brand new or if you are a member of my coaching group, you can certainly stay on this, but it's not going to go as in depth as the member group. And so, if you're a part of the member group, we do have our Back to Basics training. It starts at 12 p.m. today. So, if you're not a part of that group, then please reach out to me through email info@blueprintshortsales.com. Actually, I'll put them. I think everyone is actually Rich. I'm not sure if you have joined the group yet. So I just want to make sure there's no confusion. You can certainly stay on this, but it's not going to be as in depth as the actual member group. Okay. So for today's live stream, we're talking about short sale listing prep. And so I did create a document. I put it in the chat. You can download that, take notes. It's just some bullet points and stuff that we're going to cover today. So I wanted to start with this because I do believe that there's going to be an influx of distressed sales. And so we're going to talk about equity and we're going to talk about short sale and really how to go in and prep. Sure, Monique. Let me just, so here is the link for today's session. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and we are going to get started for today. All right, so here's the document. Again, you can download that. I've included some links that you'll be able to click and go through. And so I kind of broke it down into 3 different stages. And as we have these weekly trainings, every week is going to be something new. So next week's actually, I think, is going to be really good. It's a frequently asked question I get all the time, so be on the lookout for that. But stage number 1. So it's really your due diligence, okay? We all want to get deals, right? We all want to take on listings. We all want to get it done right away. But I do feel in the distressed niche, you really have to do as much due diligence up front. Why? Well, because you don't want to put your seller in a pickle or a bad spot, okay? So really take this stage and make sure that you're doing all of this before you actually take on the listing. So when I started short sales back in 2007, every time my phone rang or I got a referral or whatever, I knew 100% it was going to be a short. It is a little bit different in today's market, okay? And so we're going to go over that. If you're just joining us or maybe you're watching live in the group, feel free to post any questions in the group. If you can join us live in Zoom, I do have that free worksheet just to follow along. It did post it in the chat. So if you just go to chat, the link's there. If you don't see it, just let me know. Okay, so again, stage 1 is due diligence. So we've talked about the short sale intake form before, but I did link it again here. So if you want to download that, we're gonna just quickly run through that. I did do a whole live stream on the short sale intake sheet before, but I just want to make sure that all of you understand why I'm asking these questions. So that way you can properly come up with a game plan for your sellers. That is so important because remember, they're coming to you because you're the expert. So if you're not an expert, continue to join in on my live streams because you really don't want to take on these deals unless you know the ins and outs of all of them. Okay. So obviously you're going to get the name and the address and their email and their best contact. So a lot of times when someone is calling me, I always try to answer my phone. A lot of times I'm in front of my computer and I can go in and I can look up the property, or sometimes if I'm driving, I will pull over. Okay. So maybe print this intake sheet and carry it around until you've had enough conversations and you know how the flow goes. Okay. So one of the questions that I ask is, who's living in the property? So that is really important. One, we don't want to have a vacant property in the middle of winter. So I don't know if all of you are in this snowstorm that's coming tomorrow, but we are about to get dumped on here, probably 12 inches. So everyone's frantically trying to, go get groceries and stuff. But I say that because vacant properties in the Midwest or in these cold regions is not ideal. You can have vacant pipes, burst pipes. It has happened before. So ideally, we don't want the property to be vacant. If it's vacant, okay, just make sure that, utilities are on. So ask that. If it is owner occupied, great. We want them to remain in this property throughout the process. Okay. If it's tenants, well, are the tenants not paying? You do want to understand why they fell behind. Are the tenants going to cooperate because they have to show the property? Okay. I will not, or my team will not accept an offer until we know that that buyer has walked through the property. That is one of my criterias because I don't want to spend all of this time doing this if they haven't seen the property. So if you're an investor and you don't go and see the property, dang it, go see the property before you submit an offer. How many months behind on their mortgage? So a lot of times they know this, sometimes they don't. Right now we're getting people that are years behind. So really we just want a general approximate time. The other really important thing is how many mortgages, okay? And then who are they? Why is that so important? It's important because every lender does do their short sales a little bit differently, okay? So you can come to me and say, oh, I have PHH or whatever it may be, and I will understand how that bank processes the short sale. Plus, if there is a second mortgage, they don't dictate how much they're going to get. And so you really want to understand all of that. And the other reason why you're filling out this form is really to figure out, is there equity or is there not? FHA or conventional. And I do have a link right here to Fannie Mae. And so if you have the last four digits of your client's social, or ask them for it, or they can look it up. A lot of times they don't know if it's Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. So I did include the Fannie Mae loan lookup here. Fannie Mae deals are the best, okay? But FHA and conventional are so, so different, okay? So if they do have an FHA, one of the big questions that you want to ask, and this is so important, and I will give you an example here on a current deal I have. Okay, you have FHA, great. Have you done a loan modification? If they say yes, then more than likely on the title of the property, there is going to be a partial claim. That is paid first in a short sale situation or an equity sale. Doesn't matter, it's paid first. So quick example. So welcome to everyone that's joining us. I know there's still some people popping in. I do try to start these right at 11 a.m. because I'm conscious of everyone's time. I know time is so valuable. In the chat, there's a link to the free download. It's just an overview, some bullet points, take some notes. If you have questions, please post them in the chat. I will get to them at the end. Or if you're watching live in the group, I will certainly answer them from there as well. So current situation, I have a deal that you don't see any links. Okay, let me repost it. There you go. I have a current deal and it's an FHA mortgage, and he thought 100% that he had equity. Well, after doing the due diligence stage, we found out that he had done a loan modification and there was a partial claim on the title for about $36,000. Well, obviously that's going to be paid first. That eats up all the equity. So we decided to go and list it as a short because after getting the payoff and the partial claim, we thought, okay, this is probably going to turn into a short, especially with the condition. So we ended up listing it, and actually we got a higher offer than what we had initially thought. So after all of that and working the numbers, even with the partial claim, it turns out that he should probably walk away with about $5,000. So in the end, even though it's listed as a short, it's not going to be. So it's very, very tricky. And that's what I'm here for, is really to help you navigate through all of that, because you want it to be smooth for your seller. Just put yourself in their shoes. They're going through so much. And so we really do want to try to make it easy for them. Another good question to ask is if there is an auction, plus if they're going through bankruptcy. That makes things very complicated. In fact, I'll probably have a live stream just dedicated on bankruptcy stuff here in the near future. The other big thing is HOA. So we have a current member inside of our program that has an FHA. I'm sorry, an HOA issue right now. There's about $22,000 owed to the HOA. If I would have known that up front, and that she started this before she came into the program, I would have passed on that deal. Our heart says, hey, we want to help everyone, but that is huge, because ultimately it's probably going to fall on the buyer. Most buyers aren't going to pay that. So probably going to have another class with HOAs in the near future as well. But make sure you're filling out this entire intake sheet, okay? The intake sheet is connected to the worksheet that I have right here, okay? So really you wanna go through all that. After determining all that, okay, is it going to be an equity sale or a short? After asking all of those questions and knowing if there's one or two, or the investor who backs it, you're probably gonna get a good idea. However, you may need to order a payoff statement. And so sometimes your seller can do that, or you can have them sign an authorization and order that. Just really good to understand that, because what people forget to take into consideration is, even if you're looking at that mortgage statement and it says, okay, here's the principal balance and then here's what's owed, there's always going to be fees involved. Okay, I call them hook fees. So really, after you do all that, you have to determine, is it going to be an equity sale or a short? Because you also have to consider all of the closing costs. Okay, so any questions on the due diligence part? Asking all of the questions, ultimately determining, okay, maybe it's a Fannie Mae, if it's FHA, is there a potential partial claim? And any of the statements that may or may not have to be ordered. Are there questions on that? Okay, let's see here. So equity versus short again. Okay, so I call it an equity sale. I try to it's a little bit, to me, a little bit different than just a traditional sale. Okay, so if you have been on my live streams before, I do use the term equity sale. An equity sale is when someone is behind on their mortgage, but they do have that equity. After going through all of the due diligence stage, you determine that there's equity. Okay, so I call it an equity sale. Now, back in the day when I started these, there were never equity sales. I think before last year, I think I did one. Last year, I did a ton of them. So the market is eventually going to shift where there is going to be no more equity sales, and it would be a short. Okay. A short sale is when the homeowner is behind on their mortgage, but they owe too much versus what it's worth. So after you get through the due diligence stage, you may realize, oh, the total amount owed is 300,000 and it's only worth 290. Back in the day, they owed 300 and we were selling it for like 100, 150. So I've literally seen every single stage of the short sale process. So Tori, hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't, please let me know, and I can go through and answer again. No problem. See you at 12. Okay, so prepping. So you do want to schedule that listing, and make sure you follow up with them. So these people can be a little bit wonky. So make sure, before you go to that listing, especially if you're driving far, to confirm that they are ready to go. Okay. So stage 2 is really prepping. Okay. So what documentation are you going to gather for the listing? So we do have, an authorization to release information. Now, just so you know, most lenders will accept a generic one. However, there is a handful of lenders that have their own authorization. And so that's something that you're going to have to determine upfront, because if they do have a specific authorization, they are not going to accept a generic one. But the authorization, whether it is going to be an equity sale or a short, I would still get it signed because that allows you to speak on the behalf of your seller. Okay, so you want to be able to get updates on the short sale. You want to be able to order payoffs, all of that. Okay. Uh, so then the listing agreement. Now, obviously, depending on where you're at, every listing agreement is going to be a little bit different. If it is a short sale here, and it's probably like this elsewhere, there's going to be a listing addendum. Okay, so that's going to be for a short sale only. So if you determine that it is an equity sale, you're not going to need that addendum because you're not going to list as a short. Okay. Again, if you're just tuning in with us live, if you go to the chat, please, you could download the document. We are on stage 2. So the replay will be released sometime tomorrow if you want more information on stage 1. Okay, disclosure. So I get this question a lot. Yes, a short sale is always sold as is. Okay. In an equity situation or an equity sale, I still do an as is sale. Why? Just remember, you have to take your traditional thinking cap off and put on your distressed thinking cap. These sellers are going through a lot. They probably do not have any money. Okay. So still do it as an as is sale. Okay. Disclosures are still going to be required. I know depending on your area, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay. Still have your sellers sign all of the disclosures. The buyers are going to have to sign. It's still going to be as is, but if there's anything or any issues with the property, you do want to make sure that all of that's being disclosed. Okay. Disclosure for no showing. So here, totally up to you. It may be required or not. But in our MLS, we do not do any more showings after we accept an offer because we do market contingent. In a short sale situation, the bank is only going to look at one offer. That's different than an REO. The REOs, they'll look at multiple offers. In a short sale situation, you got a market contingent. You're going to have to show it that it's contingent to the bank and submit the one offer. So we do not do any more showings after. So I do have that disclosure. If you do continue to show it, then you're not going to need that. And this may vary depending on where you're at. The other big one is in the indemnity agreement. And I've talked about this before. Inside of my program, we do have the actual agreement, but if you're planning to do short sales, get an indemnity agreement prepared. Why? Because it's going to protect you. Have I had issues in the past? A couple. People claim that I guaranteed relocation assistance. No, I go through the same process with every single client. Relocation assistance is not guaranteed. In the end, it's always going to be up to the short sale lender. So you have this document to protect yourself, okay? A new listing information sheet. So you may already have this. This is what I call it. It's just specific details on the property. Maybe there's no MLS history. You know, what are you going to do for showings? Is there going to be a for sale sign? So just a quick form of all of the details because really you should be going to the property one time. So we do train to have you go to the property one time. The due diligence stage is pretty big. So we do all that up front and then you go to the property one time. And then, of course, any other required documentation that is needed per your office. So like, you know, sometimes there's those business affiliates. All right, cool. So let's just take a pause. Angel, hey, how are you? Happy New Year. Yeah, so the download is if you're attending live on Zoom. So just an incentive to log into Zoom. I do give the short sale intake sheet. That is in the download that I gave you. I do not have, I actually have all of those documents available inside the actual program. I don't release those on here, but the new listing information sheet basically is, okay, all the specific details on the property, all the specific details. Here's the link again. So the new listing information sheet, all the details on the actual property, any details on an auction, have they done the bankruptcy, details on showing. So just an overview of the entire listing. Um, Good questions. Okay. Any other questions? Post them. Hey, Olga. I think Olga, I'm not sure if you're a part. I believe you're a part of the actual member program. So if you are, let's just check. Yeah, Olga. So just so there's no confusion, this group is live every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Central. Okay. Really great training, but if you are a member of my coaching program, we have in-depth trainings 5 times a week. And so, Olga, I would make sure that you log in. It looks like you emailed me. The Zoom training today is the Back to Basics series, and that starts at 12. So just so there's no confusion. No problem. Okay, so let's move on. So stage 3 is like what to bring, okay? And so you do want to make sure you properly prepare all of these documents. I have a TC, a transaction coordinator, so she prepares all of that for me, and then I will print it here and I highlight everything of where the sellers need to initial or sign. I still do that after 17 years of handling this because sometimes you go and you're talking and you just want to make sure you're not forgetting any initials or signatures or anything. So comps. So how do I go in and pull comps? I mean, I try to get as much details of the property. I also ask the condition up front. Everyone's opinion on condition is different. Sometimes I get to these properties and I'm amazed of how great they are. And then I'm also amazed by how not great they are. So I really just will take the property. I go like a 1 mile radius and I just kind of pull a bunch of different comps and I just take them with. Ultimately, in the end, you do want to explain why you're coming to this price with your seller, but in the end, it is going to be up to their bank. Okay, so we could sell it for, if they've done a Chapter 7, we could sell it for $1, and they're not financially responsible. So the comps are a little bit tough. If you do come across a short sale, happy to give more specifics. Lockbox. So I do put every property on a lockbox. I buy them in bulk. I cannot physically attend every single showing because at one point my team had 70 of these going on. So I do put it on a lockbox. I do explain all of that to the seller and how it's going to work. Okay. And then if you are in our member program, we do have the ultimate guide to selling your home as a short sale. That is an overview of how the short sale process works. It is a wonderful tool for anyone that is facing foreclosure and you know that it's going to be a short. Okay, so just details that they can read through and ask questions. Your goal as the expert is to really hold their hand through the whole process. So yes, you're explaining it to them at the beginning, but as you go through each stage, okay, you're at the listing and then you're going to get the listing going and you're going to get an offer, then you're going to submit the offer. You do want to explain every single process. It's just going to make it easier for them in the end, and it's going to make you look really great, which hopefully will lead to many more referrals down the road. So that's stage 1, 2, and 3. I would like to open it up for any questions right now, and also see if there's any questions live in the group. So go ahead and post if you have any questions. Otherwise, just quickly, what's to come in 2024? I spent a lot of time on my vacation really figuring out how I could make this group super, super awesome. And so we're going to have some really great contests coming up. And we're going to do some more awesome promotions and a lot of great training. So like, what are you going to do in a situation with photos? We're going to have some of my attorneys come on. We're going to have some of the members come on to really help you guys understand as this market shifts how you can truly help these homeowners. So I'm really looking forward to this group. Again, we're live every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Central here. I do record it, so I do eventually release the replay depending on schedules and all that. So yeah, any questions for short sale listing prep? Or if you're watching live in the group, questions there, I'm happy to answer them. If there is no questions, and you missed a little bit of this, so be on the lookout for the replay. So I usually post about the replay on Fridays. So look for it tomorrow, although we do have this massive snowstorm coming, and so we'll see what tomorrow brings. But typically I do try to post a replay on Fridays. Okay, yes. Where are you? I am in Chicagoland, so about an hour west of Chicago, so the western suburbs. So we arrived home from Hawaii on Monday. There was a snowstorm on Tuesday. Thought for sure the kids would not have school. They did, but they wish they had canceled because the commute home was not fun. So yes, we're supposed to get 12 inches tomorrow. So just bear with me because I'm not sure what tomorrow will bring. I anticipate no school. Okay, so ask your questions. I see I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I'm not going to try to. My kids have very unique names, and so I always hate when people butcher it. So the question is, are you seeing a lot of short sales coming up? Yes. Okay, so let me explain that a little bit. People always say, Heather, I don't know what you're doing. There's no short sales, yada yada. False. Let me tell you something. Okay. So I give this analogy, and you probably have heard it before if you've been on my live streams, but let's just say you go and you have this dream car. Let's just say it's a white Cadillac Escalade. Okay. You go and buy your dream car. You are in that car every single day, right? And so you start to see more of those cars because you're in it every single day. It is the same thing with the distressed market. Okay. I have been doing this now since 2007. My best year was 2020. Even after that, I was still making six figures because I am in it every single day. And so because of that, I'm getting leads, whether it's through our marketing or attorney referrals or social media, tons of stuff. Okay. So I do anticipate more short sales versus equity sales, because at least my market here. So I did take on a lot of equity sales last year. However, towards the end of 2023, I was getting these calls and determining that they were short. So it is coming, definitely coming. So hopefully that answers your questions. Denise. So Denise, I think you're a part of the coaching program. If you are, I do not mind that you attend these weekly sessions. It's great, but our group sessions for the coaching program are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 12 p.m. Central. Those are about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the content. So yes, those are truly in depth. So hopefully you attend at 12 today and there's no confusion. Valerie, what is the best way or place to obtain short sale leads? So for us, meaning my team and then everyone that I'm helping across the country, direct mail is a big one. So if you go back, there's definitely some trainings on this in our group from previous, probably maybe summer last year or fall, but we do direct mail marketing. So we have a really highly effective letter that gets sent out once a week. Those are specific to auctions. Okay. So we do separate it. Very, very important to separate auctions and then pre-foreclosure. Pre-foreclosure is just anyone that just received an NOD or Liz pendants, depending on your state. We also teach you how to build relationships with attorneys because real estate is a people business and we want to be able to refer those clients that come in that have an auction maybe to an attorney. So we do go into depth. I don't know if I have a copy. Oh, I do have a copy. So this is the book. Everyone has access to this. The ultimate guide to selling your home is a short sale. This is how I built all my relationships with attorneys. I use this at community events. I have an online one. Huge thing. We have another book in the works. This is specific to people who are ready to go with the short sale. Okay. The other book that's coming out probably within the next 30 days, we're working on the graphics, is Ways to Avoid Foreclosure. So that's going to be great for anyone that's maybe at the beginning of the process and still trying to do their due diligence on whether or not they want to proceed with a short or an equity sale. Without saying too much, how do you get into the distressed market? So that's pretty much it. Like, it's very much step by step. I did do a really long promotion at the end of the year. So right now, currently, I'm not taking on any new members, but I think every week I may take on one. The reason why we do that is because I don't want to be overwhelmed with everyone. I want to make sure that the members in there are getting up and running. There is a whole process behind it, okay? It's my 17 years of everything. So if that's something you are interested in, you can email me. I can let you know when we'll be accepting new members. I did put my email in there. So yeah, any other questions? Or you can also message me on Facebook. Facebook or email is probably the best form of contact for me. Any other questions for you? Okay, so be on the lookout again for the replay. And then next week will be our first full week back. And so I have a really great training towards the end of next week on Thursday. I think you'll really like it. I get this question all the time. And so, yeah, very excited about what's to come. You're welcome. Have a great week. And again, email me if you have any questions. Have a blessed one. I'll linger for a couple minutes in case there's additional questions. The book is not available for purchase. It is included in the coaching. So it's everyone gets a web version and a print version. All of my information gets changed to yours. And so, yeah, the same thing for the ways to avoid foreclosure. The reason why we don't just put it out there is because there's a whole process on how we build those relationships and how to really take the book and make sure that you're utilizing it properly and getting those leads. All right, I will see everyone next week. Thanks and have a blessed day.